What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Big Football Guys. Today we've got Tony on here. Evan couldn't make it. He's having some storm issues out there in Washington. But we're back. We took a little break for Christmas, but here we are. So, yeah.
When's
New Year. What's up?
When's the last time I talked to Evan?
It's been a couple weeks now, at least.
Because I missed one, then we took a week off because everyone got screwed up with Christmas.
Right.
And then now Evan can't do this week because a storm or something screwed up his internet. So it's like, dude, I feel like I haven't talked to him in like legit a month.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting pretty close, if not already.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was it like watching our podcast?
That's that time of year.
Yeah, what was it like watching the podcast that you weren't in? You know what I mean?
Dude, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool for a couple of reasons. Number one is the big one that's always been about like what we're trying to do for this year and like everything we're trying to build, everything we're trying to grow, all that stuff is the fact that that's the first time there's been like a Footballrs product that I didn't have my hands in that just got created. You know?
Yeah.
And like that's the whole goal for everything. You know what I mean? Like when we started, it was just me and you. And then it was like I was editing videos and like I was editing all your videos, I was editing all my videos. And then we brought on obviously an editor. And then it was like I was still coordinating when videos were going live and like thumbnails and that stuff. And then you've taken that over for yourself and I'm doing it for myself. And then obviously we started the podcast. I realized I couldn't do that as well. And it was like, hey, we need to start like investing in people. And it's painful to have something that's so easy to do in your head because you've just done it. And you're just like, oh, of course, this is how I do it every week, right? You just like zip, 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 do all the different things. And then eventually you just get overwhelmed. But then when you have to sit down for a bit and teach someone, and plus maintain at the same time. So it's like you'll have, say if it's like 2 hours a week for like the podcast commitment, 3 hours probably with editing and stuff. And now it's like, yeah, I want to teach someone to get that off my plate. And it's like, well, for the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks, it's going to be like 4 or 5 hours because you got to do it yourself, plus make like how-tos to get all the info out of your brain and like transfer all the skills and do stuff. And it's a pain. But then on the other side, to just be like, hey guys, I'm not going to make it this week. Like I'm stuck in the middle of nowhere like I was a couple weeks ago. And then just to like see it the next morning. And it's like, damn, we're finally like, we're growing, we're doing stuff, people. And like Evan's killing it with everything he's been doing. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's cool to see us, as we're trying to grow this into something bigger that can support us and kind of everything we want to do. It's cool to see it kind of, trusting people and then let them like they're pulling through and making you proud. But then also obviously the stuff you guys just talked about was just cool stuff as well. I don't really remember a ton of it at this point, but yeah, it's just cool to be, you look at it in a different lens as well. Like when I listen to, if we record a podcast and I listen to it back, I'm listening to it for critique, to be like, how can we do better? What did I not like about what I did? All that kind of stuff, looking at the shorts, the long form videos, thumbnails, like all that kind of stuff and like analyzing it versus I found when I wasn't on it, I just like listened to it while I worked and it was just entertaining. So yeah. I don't know. It's cool in a couple different ways where it's like, I'm excited to see where we go with this year.
Yeah, man. I mean, a couple of years ago, you came to me and said, hey, let's do this thing. We planned stuff out. We made goals and, we've kind of crushed them already. And 2024 is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to do a lot of cool stuff and it's going to be awesome. Can't wait.
Yeah. It's crazy. My friends always talked about the joke we had with my friend group was LF stock. And it was basically like, obviously when it was LINEMAN football, talking about like if they were buying stocks in my company type thing, company back then. Now it's legit. Now it's a legit company. But back then it was a company. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be like, oh, like, because I did it before you came on, I did it for like 7 years. And every year it would be like, if this doesn't work out, I'm done. Like, I'm over this. Like, it's not fun anymore. I'm not enjoying what I'm doing, all this stuff. And it was always just like with my friends, it'd be like, oh, should we be buying or selling LF stock right now? And I'd be like, we're down. Like, we don't like, you should be selling. And right before you came on, arguably my worst idea I ever had was I was streaming Call of Duty. I don't know if you remember, if you ever saw that, but like
I think I did
that
a little
fall,
bit.
I think that was the fall of 2020. I just moved to Vancouver for the first time, and I was like playing at nights. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna like stream COD to regrow my audience and like get fresh blood in here, and then I'll get back to football stuff. Thinking like, oh, I had like 60,000 subs, 40,000 subs, whatever it was, but they were all like inactive at that point because I wasn't posting regularly. Thinking
Mhm.
I'd like immediately have like a big stream, and I averaged like 3 to 4 viewers maybe.
Wow.
And that was my legit one where I was like, I'm gonna try and get Devin to join me so I can get out of lineman and get into bigger football and like do the stuff I actually want to talk about and not just be like held hostage by this niche. And
Mhm.
if that doesn't work, then I'm done.
Yep.
But that's a pretty classic story where people do like it was the final shot and then it turned
Yeah.
around.
Yep.
You
That's
know,
how it goes, man. On its last legs, but it worked out. Just gotta take
now
some
we just got to
time.
keep this thing going.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I
But
was
yeah,
super excited when you brought me on. You had all these big ideas, and I was kind of like, seems like a lot. I don't know if how it'll go, but here we are, 2 3 years later at this point, and we've worked with so many companies. We've looked at so many cool products. We've done just so much cool stuff, just in a short couple of years. So very excited for the
yeah,
future, man. I'm very grateful you reached out to me when you did because it couldn't be going better.
dude. And when you're like people may not know, so I have a job, I have a day job, and Devin has school.
Yeah.
So despite everything that we have to do, like realistically, how many hours do you think you're doing of this a week?
Jeez, I have no. It depends. There's a lot of different variables. During the season, it's totally different from out of season because out of season we can kind of plan stuff out further because there's more products to talk about. As opposed to in season, it's
Yeah.
like everything's reliant on the week that just occurred. So I don't know which one I'd be more busy in, but as far as hours, I honestly it just changes so much. It depends how I'm feeling
Yeah.
that day. If I want to get through something quick, if I want to take my time with it. Um, I mean, today was a slower day for me. I feel like I did 4 or 5 hours just doing my usual research for my series and then just getting the podcast ready. But it
Yeah.
varies a lot.
Usually for me, it's like, and one thing I'd like to talk about is like goals for ourselves and like how we want to, grow this. Cause like we don't really talk about it as the business a lot and like what it takes to turn this into something, but it's like we want to grow this into something where when Devin's done school, that can support him, when I can eventually leave my job and this support me. And like that's all part of the grand vision for what we want to do here.
Mm-hmm.
And like right now, the way I work and like it's a personal goal of mine is to stop being so reactionary. Because like realistically, I do during the day when I'm working my normal job, I will take I work in data and like databases and stuff, and it's like very not creative, very intense, very structured work. And so during the day, I will take short breaks to post on Instagram. I'll listen to like Pat McAfee and stuff while I work. And if any like news stuff that's kind of interesting to me kind of comes up, I'll post about that on Instagram. So I'm only posting during the day. I'm only posting just like news. The other shorts and stuff that comes out during the day, I've made those within last week, 2 weeks, whatever. Um, so I'm posting that. And then so I'm kind of doing that a little bit in the day and I'm answering emails. But then when I get home from work at night, I do about an hour to 2 hours a night on stuff. And then weekends, I pretty much work all day on Sunday while I watch football. I'll probably put in like realistically probably 6 or 7 on Sunday between,
Wow.
10 and whatever. And then Saturdays, not same thing, but yeah, it definitely varies a lot, but it's probably 25 hours a week
Yeah,
realistically right now.
that
Um,
sounds about right.
and it's crazy to see how much we do across because like we have what do we have between us now? We have 3 Instagrams, 2 TikToks, 2 YouTube channels.
Mm-hmm.
Like just the amount of stuff we post across all the networks, like we're posting probably 300 or more pieces per month easily, I would say.
Yeah.
And just to think about how we do that in like part-time, like if we actually could both do this full-time, how much shit would come out would be,
Mm-hmm.
I think about that all the time. I think about like,
Yeah.
man, if I could, the way I sit down on Sundays and do stuff all day, I'm like, if I could do that on a Tuesday, like, yeah. But anyway, so one of my goals is to stop being so reactionary, because I basically sit down at my computer when I get home and I'm like, what do I got to get done? You know, and I just sit there and like I lose focus on like time frames and goals. I'll my goal will be to like edit 2 shorts, whatever, which will take me about half hour each, and then I'll be there like 2 hours later because I decided to do 4, and
Mm-hmm.
then by the end of the week I'm absolutely gassed. Like I'm just exhausted. I'm tired. I'm stressed. So it's like I want to
Yeah.
get better this year about like, you know, at this time of year for us, a big thing that I have not done yet, I'm behind on, is reaching out to companies. You know, most companies, there's only a couple companies which we're going to talk about later. Nike, Adidas, Under Armour. Those are the only ones that like full scale release fall catalogs. Here's everything coming out. Those are the only big ones that have, you know, Under Armour Next and Adidas All American Game that they feature that stuff early. Right. So, but every other company that we work with that's putting out a product in August in time for the football season, we need to start talking to them now to figure it out. Because, like Devin said, during the football season, we are scheduling sometimes videos, or sorry, not during the off season. We're scheduling out reviews because like we don't have like weekly stuff as much. We're just getting all these reviews out. Like
Yep.
we schedule up sometimes 3 months in advance when we're
Mm-hmm.
moving things around, and it's like, oh, like, you know, we got this review that, you know, we've been holding on to, but we know it's not going to do as good as this one. You know, like obviously I won't say certain products, but like Nike gets the most views of anything by far. So we're like, oh, we were supposed to put out this video today, but like we just got this Nike one ready. Put the Nike one out first, move that one. And like I remember like even 2 years ago, there was a video that got pushed every single week for 3 months. And then eventually I just like had to put it out in September.
Mm-hmm.
And I was
Yep.
like, fuck, I don't even live there anymore. I was like, dude, I lived in this like apartment in Vancouver. Now I'm in Calgary and the video's going out and it's just like, so yeah, that's one thing I gotta, on my week for this week, I gotta reach out to all the companies and start those conversations and stuff. But like I said,
Yep.
until we're at the point where we can go full time, or at least for I can go full time, I gotta learn how to balance it better. Because
Yeah.
sometimes it just grinds me to a halt.
Yeah. Time management's tricky when you're doing something like this because you're doing it in your own time and you want to do it. You know you have the motivation to do it all the time, but you have to learn to cut it back so you don't overdo it. You know.
Yeah, like I could, with everything I have in my to-do list and stuff, like from you with our Nike PEs, you know, I got like a couple of them edited, but I got a bunch more to do. Like I could sit down for 5 hours a night easy, but I have a wife, I have a dog that needs to be walked. I've barely worked out in a year because of it, and I need to start working out again. So it's just like, you know, it's tough. You got to learn how to balance it.
Yeah.
But it will
But
be
we'll figure
so
it out.
cool when I learn. Yeah.
Mm.
What
We're
do you got?
figuring it out.
That's my goal. So my goal this year, outside of the business stuff, there's metrics and things like that like I don't know if we talk about or don't talk about numbers and stuff, but like we're going to start setting some goals here soon about what we want to do for this year as far as partnerships and revenue and people on board and all that kind of stuff. But like, what's a personal goal for you for the year?
So for me, I want to be, more consistent, with my content. This past year, I feel like my Instagram stuff kind of lacked because I've been, focusing so much effort on the YouTube side and the short side.
Yeah.
So I feel like my quick topical Instagram posts, the new stuff is just kind of lacked this past year. I haven't even posted about any of the leaked like new cleats that we talked about in full length YouTube videos. But like last year, the year before, I would have done that already. But I haven't really been doing a ton of like creative stuff like with Photoshop and stuff. Just talking about this stuff and making these posts. I've just been kind of relying on my 2 series all year. So I definitely got to get back into, the creative side, making graphics, creating posts, new stuff, topical stuff people
Yeah.
want to see, because I can't lose that foothold in the game as like the person who knows everything that's going on with the football equipment. I want to keep that. And then similar to you, I got to work on time management, man. I mean, you've seen, like, you've edited videos where I'm like, yeah, it's 2 a.m. and I'm finally filming this video because I have just I'm just really bad about managing my time effectively, and then I put myself in these tricky situations, but it always gets done. It's just it gets tricky, and so I definitely got to work on that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The you do like it's interesting because you're still on top of stuff. Like when you texted our guy at Nike and you're like, did you know that these gloves are on Dick's Sporting Goods already? Because like
Mm-hmm.
they're not supposed to be for a month. And he was like, what the hell? And
Mm-hmm.
it was like, oh no, they're pre-order. So it's like you still know everything happening. It's not like you're out of the loop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're like, even like I posted about it today, but you're the one that told me about it. And
Yeah.
because I
I'm
was like, oh,
still like,
like I'm gonna be dropping stuff on it, so I might as well post about the stuff as well. Like you're still obviously like very on top of it. It's not like you're out of the loop about what's happening. You just like, and it's like you just have to rebuild that habit of posting.
yeah, that's pretty much all it
You
is.
know?
I just have to, like, I know the information, I know it's coming. I just have to sit down and like open Photoshop and just start making these graphics. I tried to make one last night and it was exporting really weird, and I just got frustrated and gave up with it. I was like, why is it exporting in such a
Yeah,
low quality? I was trying to post about something we're going to talk about next, but I just, yeah, as far as like Photoshop graphics, I've just been reusing the same, PSD files for the Cleat Heat and the best looks pretty much all season long. There's been very few like other types of posts if you go on my Instagram. So that's definitely something I work on, especially because there won't be any NFL in the off season. So got to post about this stuff. Got to stay on top of it.
yeah,
Got to just make these graphics. I think when I don't have to do these Photoshop, use these Photoshop templates every week. I mean, it's week 17, or we're going into week 18. The season's been kind of grueling making these graphics every week. So I think once we get out of the season, I'll be able to kind of chill and like get into making those graphics, for just equipment in general, not just NFL stuff. So I think
yeah.
I'll find my groove again during the off season.
I mean, it's kind of tough that like football is our thing, but I kind of don't look forward to the NFL season
It's a grind,
because
dude.
it's an absolute grind. And when it is the amount it is, it's so easy just to fall into status quo of like, oh,
Mm,
like we need 2 videos this week. Here's 2 ideas. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, let's get to the next week. And so it's
yeah,
like you lose that creative like freedom and that like creative juice when like you can just do that. Like when it feels like you have like weekly deadlines and stuff, like it's very easy to get complacent and just like, I got to do best looks this week. Put them all in the Photoshop template, export and post it. And like you just lose that little bit of like, it's so simple of, and I wish I just didn't have the time to do it today, but like, do you remember how you used to do when you'd post like the cleats? If you posted a photo of a cleat, you'd like put the cleat in the background, but like bigger and off centered with like a gray opacity to it.
Oh, for those, yeah, those are like the release posts. That's my release template. Yeah,
Yeah. Right.
I
And
haven't done it in a while, except for I did it for the pink and white K1 dunks, but that's the last time I've
yeah,
done it.
but it's just stuff like that, that like when you don't have that constraint about like, it's just like you get to come up with cool stuff and like make it more fun, you know? Because like
Yeah,
I wish I took the time today to make my post better about the news for like the Add a Zero, because like it's like a very rectangular cleat on a square post, so it doesn't really fit well, and it like didn't look great, but it got all the information across, which was basically just about giving like a close up. But it's like it could be so much better, but yeah, it's tough. So the football season, like I love it, but man, I look forward to like February 15th when I'm like,
yeah,
boom, we're getting
that's
into
where I'm
reviews.
at.
Like let's do some cool stuff.
That's where I'm at right now. I mean,
Yeah,
these you guys have seen the videos, the What Pros Wear videos. They seem like kind of simple, but there's so much that goes into them. And like every Monday, I'm like, I got to do all of this all day to get this video done. And by week 18, it's kind of like it feels more like a chore. And in a lot of these
yeah,
videos, like I do this stuff because I love it. This is fun for me. I like doing this stuff, but by the end of the season, it starts to feel like a chore and it starts to be less fun. So just like you said, I'm excited for the season to end and then to get into some of the reviews because they're easier for me, just video wise. It takes less time. I don't have to do as much research because you guys know for these what players wear videos, I'm researching for all the weeks of the season. So it takes a long time to get all the photos, and it's a real grind. So again, I'm excited to get into products. It's always fun. It's new. It's fresh. It's different. It's refreshing.
Yeah. So speaking of that, what do we've made some videos about, we dropped 3 videos, the big 3 that we know of, Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour, and what they have coming out for this year. Now, they're all a little bit different, and that's because like Nike gave us the best look at what was coming out, but they didn't give us cleats. We're still working on that. That's a tricky one. But we got like the gloves in our hands, all that stuff. We're going to talk a lot about that coming up when they drop all that stuff in February. Adidas dropped all new cleats and gloves and stuff. And it's kind of like, it's like a little bit underwhelming in a way where they're like, oh, we're rebranding all this stuff. And it feels like a whole launch. But in like reality, it's like some of it's new, but some of it's old, but just rebranded. And then Under Armour, but even like Adidas, like in their catalog, they gave like a lot deeper photos and examples and like theory around like why they're doing things and like what it represents. And then Under Armour kind of did the least amount of stuff as far as changes and also like how they presented it and like what we know about it. So, the videos obviously in order did views wise, Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, which makes sense based on the content and, popularity wise, a Nike video will always do better than Adidas, and Adidas will always do better than Under Armour. I guess I shouldn't say always because Under Armour used to be king of the castle like 15 years ago. So who knows? But at least right now, it's like we put out anything Nike, we know it'll do better than anything Adidas, or anything Adidas will probably do better than anything Under Armour. It's just the way it is, at least from our perspective. But so, what are you most excited about? Let's talk gloves first. So, Under Armour has here. I got them all open here. Let's
take a look.
Okay, so we got the Under Armour catalog here. Let's see, we got the Adidas catalog here. I got to go this way. So yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. To locker room. So Adidas has 2 gloves. We got the 13.0, which is last year's model. I actually literally have one on my desk. Same thing. So they still have the 13.0s, but now they have the Adizero 13 electric. So I guess we'll start. What are your? We also have the Adidas Adizero Impact, which is it's literally the Freak 6.0, just rebranded. They didn't change the palm graphics, nothing. It's literally identical. So nothing. Same with the Freak Max are now called Chaos. Again, identical. Adidas gloves.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it too much because I know we just did a whole video on it, but it's weird how they've, reorganized all their different things. Now everything is considered Adizero, and then the electric is the light stuff, the impact is the big skill stuff, and then the chaos is the lineman stuff, right? Or is it the other way around?
Yep. No, you got it.
Okay, cool. So that's kind of weird, but so basically, you still have Adizero's Freaks and Freak Max, but it's the same stuff. But the Adizeros look pretty cool. I didn't look at them too long. I just kind of looked at the catalog quickly during one of our meetings, and I was like, "This is pretty cool." But the part that was kind of crazy, aren't they $70?
$70 it says for MSRP.
$70 is insane for a skill receiver glove. I don't think I've ever seen a skill glove that was $70 besides the. Do you remember the Under Armour Luxe? That was like a leather back of hand glove.
No.
Yeah, they were weird. They were $70. They were like a luxury football glove. That it didn't work out. I don't think I've ever seen a pair worn anywhere. They were like a weird. They were like a tan.
The Jordan Flylock.
The Jordan Flylock. I want to say it was 65, but if it might be 70.
Is it? Yeah, because like the closest thing is Jordan, because that's it used to be the same as Nike before they changed it, but like back when you were buying like Jordan Vapor Jets, it was literally just a rebadged Nike Vapor Jet, but you were paying a premium for the Jordan logo, and it was
Yep.
like $5 or $10 more than the Nike Vapor Jet. So it's like when I see $70, I think of like, damn, they might be over top of Jordan, which since they joined football has been known as like the most expensive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the Jordan Flylock, the regular colorways retail for 65, and then some of the like more exclusive colorways like the Hyper Grape or whatever is $70. So
Yeah.
they are up there as well, for the high end or high colorway, I guess, models. But $70 for some Addy Zeros or Energy, whatever they are, then Energies is absurd.
I called it. I realized I called it Energy and everything, and then I was editing it. I was like, oh frick, it's electric.
Dang. Oh
yeah.
well.
It's
we'll get it. It's gonna take everybody some time to adjust to that. That's gonna be weird.
It's kind of like the same strategy as Apple, where they'll always offer last year's stuff still at a lower price point of like something you're used to, and then they'll have the newest thing is like a laptop used to be like $1,500, and then it was like $1,800, and then it was like absurd when it was over $2,000. Now it's like for M3 or whatever, $2,300 starting, but it's like to actually get what you want, it's like $2,800, right?
Yeah.
But same thing with iPad. You'll still be able to get a shitty, iPad for $500, but the one you want is really $1,200, and it's definitely a little weird that they kept the 13.0s. Actually, to be honest, the only weird thing to me, because I get it from a price band strategy to maybe have the cheaper one still, because it was kind of ahead than the other stuff, because they had the 13.0s last year, but now that was kind of off from the 12.0, so they're trying to like resynchronize. I personally don't understand why they called it the Electric 14 to signify it's the 14th glove, when the cleats are not called the Electric. Technically, the cleats would be the Electric 13, but to make them a sync, they should both be 14. It's just the cleats missed a year. So I don't really know why they called it the Electric 14s and why they didn't just call it the Electric. But I also don't know what they're going to do next year. Is it going to be called the Adizero Electric 2 for the cleat, but then the glove will be the Electric 15? Like, they took the number away from every other product, but then they left the 14 on that one specific thing, and it feels confusing to me about how they'll handle it next year.
Yeah, Adidas has always kind of bothered me with the way they number their products. Ever since they skipped their number 9 Adizero, they went from 8 to X, just like Apple did. I talked about it a bunch. It always bothers me. And ever since then, because they did the gloves, like some people were calling the gloves the Adizero 9, but then the cleat version was the Adizero X because it was the 10th generation of Adizero cleat. I don't know. Adidas has always done that. It's always confusing, and now they've just made it even more confusing, which I didn't know was possible. But whatever.
Yeah. Also, I noticed I really hope they don't do it. My favorite cleats, and like I've said this like how many times, my favorite cleat is the Freak Prime Knit.
Yep.
I love Freak Prime Knit cleats. Like, and this year it looks like there isn't one because they have so they have the Electric. The Electric Plus is the Prime Knit version, so it's the equivalent of the 13. If it would be a 13.0 and a 13.0 PK. Last year they had the Freak 23s, and then again, this is the confusing part as well. Is they call the Adizero Prime Knit version the Adizero 12.0 Prime Knit, but for the Prime Knit version of the Freaks, they call it the Freak Ultra.
Yeah, it's always been tough to follow.
So I didn't understand because I was like, why wouldn't you just call it the Freak 23 Prime Knit? Because then it's, and even like with Prime Knit, it has boost. Or sorry, the Ultra, maybe it's because the Ultra also has boost in it. But it's the same traction plate. Like, it's just a little, regardless. My favorite cleats I've ever worn are the Freak 21 Ultras. They came out like really late. They came out in like September. In like only a couple colorways. There was like an all black with like a rainbow iridium traction plate. And it had like a hazard sign on the side of it. I love those things.
I saw those. They were on sale for like $40. I
Yeah,
bought some.
the Freak 22s for coaching, still my favorite cleats to coach in because of the laceless. And
Yeah.
this year's I also really enjoyed. So to see that there's no Adidas at a 0 Impact Plus would be the prime knit version of it. So to see that they dropped that product, that's kind of depressing.
That's a little
Also,
weird to
I guess
me.
one
Yeah.
Adidas does not have a lot of athletes right now. They have Patrick, Travis Etienne, Kadarius Toney, Juju, Trevor Lawrence. Is he an Adidas
Yeah.
athlete?
Yeah.
Right. So they don't have a massive roster, but they have the biggest guy in the league, Patty
Yeah.
Mahomes.
They got Tua
He
too.
wears the Ultras.
Yeah,
He
that
wore
was
the
where I was
Freak.
going to go with it. Yeah.
Yeah, he wore the Freak 21 Ultras. When they came out with the Freak 22, the laceless, he skipped it, wore the Freak 21s for another year.
Mm-hmm.
And then, they changed it from Ultra to Inline last year. Wasn't it called the Freak 23 Inline instead of Ultra?
I don't know. I
Yeah,
just remember there was
last year was the
Freak and
Inline.
Freak Ultras.
I think it was the whatever. Anyways, Patrick Mahomes switched to those. So he
Yeah.
upgraded once they got past the laceless, right? So, like, what is he going to wear next year or the year after that? Is he going to stay in the 23 inlines, I believe is what it's called?
Yeah, I think Mahomes, Trevor Lawrence, and Tua all wear the same cleat. And if that's all the prime knit version, oh no, Trevor Lawrence is in the regular one. But yeah, it doesn't make sense to kill the cleat, your most prevalent player wears. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and I even noticed they were making a custom. I don't know if it was, but I saw a video. Let me find this thing. This was actually a cool video. We weren't going to talk about this, but I don't know if you saw this video of. Let's go. Who posted this? Someone posted this yesterday. I don't think it was Sports Dissected. No. Damn it. Bleacher Report? No. I can't remember. Someone posted a video. Sorry? Someone posted a video of Penix Jr. getting at the Adidas facility, getting his feet 3D printed for cleats to give him custom cleats. I don't remember who.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
GQ. Okay, yeah, it's GQ. All right, I got it.
GQ. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. They get all
GQ,
the access,
where are you?
man.
Yeah, they get all the stuff that we don't.
Jealous.
GQ Sports. It can't be that long ago. It was a day ago. Reels?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it too, but I don't see it.
Maybe it just like popped up for me and it's old.
Maybe.
Okay. Anyways, they posted a video of Penix at the Adidas facility getting his feet custom mapped for cleats. And on their wall of cleat samples they had for him was the Freak 23 inline with laces, which is like a Patrick Mahomes spec. Was basically like he wanted the laced version of that cleat.
Yeah.
So that they're clearly still making it. So I don't know.
Yeah, but from like a business standpoint, it doesn't make a ton of sense to have an athlete like that wearing a cleat that the public can't get their hands on. That's just bad business. Because you want your influential athlete to influence, and if he's wearing a cleat the public can't get, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, I don't remember, but did the Freak 22 Ultra exist in their like fall catalog that year? Because I remember one day it was just Jalen Ramsey was at Rams training camp in these laceless football cleats, and I was like, "What the hell are those?"
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then they dropped in that electric colorway like a month later to the public, and we got them.
Yeah, I can't remember. It might have been like in there as a word, but no diagram of the cleat or anything. That's happened before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so Adidas got used to the new names, a couple new products. Still curious. to see how it all performs. But yeah, every year I want a new lineman glove. That's kind of always my opinion on a lot of stuff. Is just give me a new lineman glove. Show me
Well,
you're trying.
you know who's got a new lineman glove, right? Nike.
Who,
So
Devin?
Nike's got a bunch of gloves that they're going to drop finally. You know, they've been kind of slacking, honestly, in all phases of Nike football. But they've got a whole bunch of new gloves. We have the Nike VaporJet 8, which we have a video showing all of this stuff. You guys want to go check it out. We have a Superbad 7, and then we have the DTAC 7. So there's your lineman glove, and they've kind of overhauled, you know, the DTAC especially. It's totally different. Comes in a lot of cool colorways. I think we've talked about it when it was first getting leaked a little bit, maybe on the podcast, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, I had harsh. This is when I was like mid last year. I was calling for the downfall of Nike.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, I was looking at stuff and I was like, man, I'm kind of done. Because the DTAC leaked and it looked identical, but with just a Nike logo on the pinky.
Yeah.
I remember Alabama was wearing them. There were some other teams testing them. I don't think there was a lot of NFL at that point, but it was mostly college. And I was like, man, we have no new cleats. Nothing new has dropped cleat wise. We haven't had a new DTAC in like 6 years. And they're going to drop it at some point. And the only difference I can visually see is the Nike logo on the pinky. And so I was calling for like Nike's head like halfway through last year. But the new DTACs are cool. There's a lot of changes, a lot of new colorways.
Especially
the padding is still very similar, but it's better. And the palm print, the fact that they figured out how to print on the palms for a lineman glove and have the durability is cool.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. You know, finally linemen get some cool stuff. And then a lot of colorways are the mismatched swag energy colorways as well. So you get some bright colors, not just like base red, blue. You know, you get the cool stuff, which is something linemen have never really had in my experience. So that's pretty exciting for you guys.
Yep. That'll be, like I said, just like the DTAC was really cool when it came out because at that point it was available in like a bunch of colorways. But year over year, as DTACs became harder and harder to find and harder to find in the original team colorways, they did black, white, red, blue, which for lineman gloves was a big deal to have team colorways. But then like over the years, it just got harder and harder to find them, which was frustrating. So even, like I said, even if technically the changes aren't that big, at least they'll be stock. But we do know that there are some pretty cool changes that I'm very curious about.
They really did drag out the old 6.0, but this year, man, 2024, they heard us. They said, we're going to do one of every single glove. They're all synced up now. I don't know if they'll stay that way. It'd be kind of cool if they did. The VaporJet 8 is really cool. It's pretty similar to the last one, but they've made some key upgrades. It feels lighter. It's more flexible. Same Magnet Plus palms, really good. And then the Superbads also feel lighter. Similar back of hand material, Magnet Plus palms. But they have a much lighter feel. I think the pads on the back of hand are just a little bit thinner. So you get a lot more dexterity. And like I said, it just feels lighter. So good stuff. Honestly, I'm very excited, to get them in my size and be able to test them. And then they've got women's stuff too. So any women watching this, you guys get your own sizing. Like it's not just men's stuff, sized down. It's a true like women's sized football gloves, which is really cool. And then there's also the
honestly
cold weather.
The one I'm most excited for of everything. Oh, yeah. Are you there? Oh, you cut out a bit. I was going to say
the cold weather.
Yeah, cold weather of anything coming out this year that we know of so far. Nike, we're going to talk about. I think we'll have time. Maybe we'll see. But Nike definitely has some cool cleats coming out next year to be excited about. But by far right now, the most excited I am about anything is the cold weather VaporJets.
Yep, absolutely. Because, we've been wanting,
so we got that.
I think we're cutting out a little bit, but regardless, both of us live in cold climates. come towards the end of the season, it gets pretty chilly. So to have a cold weather glove that's available to the public is going to be really sweet. It used to just be, an NFL team issue thing, but now we're going to be able to get our hands on them, which is going to be awesome.
Yep. Did you ever, growing up, have to do the surgical glove trick?
I know about it, but I never did it myself. No,
No?
never.
Oh, that was
I
a
saw
daily.
I saw somebody in the NFL doing it recently, and I'm like, wow, that's sick.
Yeah.
I forgot who it
Blue,
was.
not even surgical gloves. It could be like any neoprene or whatever the
Just
material
rubber
is. Like
gloves.
gloves, you literally buy a 10-pack at Home Depot of like the blue gloves. And you just put those underneath your normal gloves. And like there was a certain temperature that was good till, and then that got tough. But it never really, you couldn't like fully have dexterity in your fingers because of like the restriction of it. And but hopefully, I'm excited to see how these new like the 2-piece liner and stuff works. I think it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited. Nike, like, finally, they've kind of just overhauled everything, and they're bringing a lot of cool stuff to the table. Something else they're bringing that a lot of people are very excited about, they're bringing back the Nike Vapor Untouchables. These are probably one of the most iconic cleats ever. It's just one of the best looking silhouettes, hands down. And then the carbon fiber traction plate they came with originally is one of the coolest plates ever. This is a cleat I have in my collection because they're so cool, and I've only worn them once on turf. Here's a nice video of Jamar Chase. He's the only guy so far that I've seen in the NFL that has these. But if you look closely, you'll notice that they do have the edge traction plate. So Nike, what they're doing is they're kind of bringing back their older style cleats. We saw it with the Vapor Carbons. They brought those back, kind of reworked them, gave them the updated edge plate, and released them to the public. So this is going to be the exact same idea as that, except it's going to be the OG Untouchables, but they are going to have the edge plate. I know that's going to upset a lot of people. Honestly, it kind of upsets me because, I don't know, something about that carbon fiber plate is just incredible. We talked about them a little bit on the podcast at some point when we kind of leaked that there was a Oregon player that wore them. I couldn't find the photo for the podcast, but if you go back to that podcast, you'll see it. But this is, they're coming back. So they're going to drop to the public in 2024. So this is a new Nike cleat. I don't really know of any other Nike cleats that are dropping. We might see the Diamond Turf 96s drop to the public. I'm pretty sure that's happening. But I don't know if they're coming with any new Vapors or Alphas or anything. I'm sure they are. Maybe. I don't know. They've been kind of unpredictable lately. But regardless, OG Untouchables are coming back, and Jamar Chase has them, and they're really cool. I know you're more into lineman stuff, Tony, but tell me you're excited about the OG Untouchables coming back.
The weird thing about, not the weird thing, but those cleats came out the year after I finished.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
They
so
came out,
when I saw kids, they like, because they were like fall 2015, because I graduated in 2015. Okay. They didn't exist in 2014 when I was playing fall ball. So when I stopped, those didn't exist. I come back for my first year of coaching with my team, and there's kids wearing those, and I was like, damn. Those, and there was even some of the colorways, like, because my team was like red and yellow. We were the Cardinals. Yeah. And there was like some red and yellow versions of those things that were just like a stock colorway.
Yep.
And I was like holy like, they were really cool. So I'm excited to see those. So we do know about those for sure. We've been told that the Diamond Turfs will be coming out in more colorways, which makes sense that they would drop them in just some team colorways at least at some point in the year. We probably still have maybe the Dunks year over year, maybe like a 2-year cycle on the Dunks.
I think they're going to add more colorways. We've seen some NFL guys in like these team bank colorways, so I think those are going to come to the public as well.
The Alpha Menace, I could see them refreshing. It'll be the same traction plate, the X frame, because they've already put that on other new stuff coming out that we've seen. LeBron's.
Oh yeah, the LeBron 4s are going to drop as well. Yeah, LeBron so they're doing a lot of stuff. They're bringing, so they have kind of 3 pillars that they're working with. They have like their lifestyle stuff, which is the LeBron 4s, the Diamond Turfs, basically bringing back iconic silhouettes as football cleats. Then they have kind of their like throwback pillar. So that's going to be the Vapor Carbons and the Untouchables, just bringing back older, like iconic Nike football cleats. And then they have like their innovative one, which is like all their new Nike Vapors that is just like the latest stuff. So they're kind of hitting it pretty hard, recently. So pretty excited to see all the stuff they drop,
Yeah.
in the upcoming
The
year.
The Alpha Menace, to be honest, this Alpha Menace is probably one of the ugliest football cleats I've ever seen.
Which one's that? I can't see what you're holding.
Oh, I'm getting up. Devin, can you see me right now? Or is your internet still being...
No, the internet's being tricky. I'm just looking at a black screen per usual.
So I have in my hand the Nike Alpha Menace Pro 3s.
Okay, yeah, those are ugly.
In black.
Yeah. You have a black and red pair, right? No.
No, these ones I just have a black and white.
Okay.
I hate
those are bad.
The long Nike Lightning thing that goes up it.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the silhouette of it. I hate these cutouts and how big and blocky they are on the side that hug around your foot. The purpose of them, I'm sorry, but I hate the toe box. The toe box was too narrow. And I hate the branding on the back. This like cutout thing that says agility system, lock and containment. This like badge looking thing that's just screen printed. When I saw this cleat and I saw the last Alpha Pros and the last Alpha Menace Elites, the 2s, I love those things. And I hated these things. I think the only redeeming quality of these is the traction plate that they've clearly moved forward with.
It's a good traction plate for sure.
Yeah. So I really hope they get rid of this. Like this, I'm sorry, dude, this Nike logo that's as big as the freaking cleat sucks.
Yeah, it's not working.
Right? No. So I'm excited to see them. Yeah. And also, someone asked me about it in my DMs today. Don't forget the Force Savage Pros, or Force Savage 3 will be the name, probably.
Yep.
Right, their lineman cleat that they should be coming back with. They've been worn by, like when you watch football on Sundays now, beginning of training camp, there was a couple random sightings. They are everywhere now.
Yeah, they're pretty much common now among NFL offensive linemen. So those are definitely coming. That's a good point. I forgot about those.
Yeah. So it looks like Nike has waded the waters through COVID.
Yeah.
Where it felt like they were dropping and dealing with the supply chain stuff. And now with the introduction of women's football and the growth of football that's happening now with flag and women being involved, Nike is swinging for the fences this year to come back in a very big way. That's how it feels. It feels like cleats, they're going to create these 3 distinct pillars about things that have not really existed before, and they're going to introduce that. Gloves, they're refreshing everything. They're adding new gloves on top of the refreshing and making fixes. So it feels like Nike is going to win this year, right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Coming in third place is Under Armour, who the only thing that they're doing is, I got the catalog. Let's open the catalog.
Yeah. Let's pull it up.
So Under Armour, we did make a video about it, and a lot of the comments were kind of what we would expect. New girdles, same chin strap, it's kind of stuff they've had for a long time. Nothing new here. Mouth guards are made by Shock Doctor. So they have the new Under Armour Highlight, which I personally love. I think it looks great. Under a couple caveats. So I love the design of it. It looks like the Alpha Menace Elite 2s. Arguably one of my other most favorite cleats ever. I never actually owned a pair. I wish I did. My favorite looking cleats. Russell Wilson wore them. Joe Burrow wore them until he switched to the Jordan 1s this year. Very popular quarterback cleat. So I love the redesign. But the redesign is only because everybody hated the last year's version with the Velcro straps that came across your ankle and the voltage colorways and all that stuff. Like they were just not well received.
They were bad.
So yeah, those were bad. And The thing that it looks like they still have on here, and I'm just comparing the photos, is it looks like they kept the same traction plate,
Yeah.
which is the same traction plate that's on these spotlights. And that traction plate was notorious, maybe the not worst performing as far as like cutting and stuff, but the most consistent I have ever seen with a cleat as far as durability with a traction plate.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I'm grabbing them. I know, Devin, you can't see, but yeah. Oh, no, I'm wrong. Sorry. Here we go. Okay, so I got them in my hand. So I forgot the highlight had different traction plate, which was actually quite good. I forgot about this one. It has their like diamond shaped studs.
Yeah. I can see it in my head. Yeah, it's like
Actually,
a bunch
I
of
quite
triangles.
if they continue this traction plate, I like it. What I was referring to was it looks like the spotlight year over year hasn't changed, which has
Mm.
this traction plate. And this traction plate was known as the least durable of all time.
Yeah.
Um, all of these studs in here are like inserts. Like if you look really closely, you can't see, but you can see where the little blue tab goes into the clear. You can see how it's two pieces, not one molded piece. And I I saw some videos of inside some Under Armour college locker rooms with bins of broken cleats, team wide garbage bins full of unusable cleats because of that traction plate. So
Crazy.
I don't love seeing that year over year. Aside from that, they got the Blur Smoke suede.
Yep.
They have that, which will be cool. The suede Luxe versions were really popular, the old Spotlight, so bringing back the suede. Gloves, they have the F8, which was last year's glove. But then for women's, they have the F9 Nitro,
Yep.
which looks pretty cool. So everyone's getting into women's, and then obviously they have the Blur, which still exists, and I actually quite like how the Blur feels. And then the Blur women's. So, and then they have the Under Armour Highlight gloves, which disappeared for years. That whole time I wasn't sharing my screen. Thought I was. Didn't have the Under Armour Highlight gloves, and they're back again. And I don't know how I feel about them yet, but
Yeah.
so yeah, it just feels like Nike. It looks, at least from the outside, like Nike is swinging for the fences this year on everything they have planned and what they want to do and invest in.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like Under Armour's not.
Yeah, I mean, Under Armour's kind of just been dwindling more and more each year, and this is proof of that. And I mean, Nike, like we talked about, they kind of been low key for a while, not really doing much. But this year, I mean, they're doing a lot, so that'll be exciting. Then
Mm-hmm.
Adidas, they're doing some changes, but they're still, walking along, doing what they do. They're probably going to come out with a billion really cool colorways, and that'll be that.
Yeah, I mean, Nike has built up such a reputation that they were able to get by on like brand, is it affinity or basically just love for the brand over the past like 3 or 4 years while they kind of figured their shit out post COVID with supply chain and stuff.
Yeah.
That it like, I was starting to get sick of it, but they were still just kind of biding by on that loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're going to swing for it. And then, yeah, I don't know. It sucks because Under Armour, man, I remember back in Adam football and stuff, like Under Armour was the shit. Like I remember I was
Yeah.
only wearing Under Armour compression. Had to be Under Armour.
Had to
Had
be.
to be
Nobody
Under
else
Armour
really.
cleats.
Yeah, nobody else even came close to making that stuff. Under
Yeah.
Armour was the wave. If you didn't have that on your
So
uniform, loser.
yeah.
But yeah,
Honestly, we had a bunch of other stuff to talk about this week, but it can all wait a week.
yeah.
Do you want to wrap up with Cleat Heat?
Oh yeah, of course we got to do Cleat Heat. Can't
Yeah,
miss a
let's do
Cleat
that,
Heat.
and then
It's the best time of the day.
there you go.
Let me open it on my end here so I can see it. Why can't I find my own page? Football.equipment.
The
Why is it so hard to find my own page? Okay, there it is.
by the way, come back next week because Control T. Control Shift T maybe. Next week we're gonna cover this Jay Jackson dripper skip. Longtime fan. Again, we're sorry we couldn't get to this week. We went way over on other random topics, but Jay Jackson next week. You are on deck for dripper skip.
Yes, sir. And if anybody else wants to anybody else wants to join Dripper Skip, please email us at bigfootballguyspodcast@gmail.com. Send in your drip. We'll talk about it. All right. So send it in.
There you go.
But now it's time to talk about some NFL drip. Cleat Heat. Let me know when you've got it up and going. You got it? All right.
Yep.
First one we've got here is Quincy Williams of the New York Jets. So obviously we just had the holidays. He pulled out a very nice pair of Kobe 6 Grinches inspired football cleats. These are total reconstructions by Coda Customs. And I mean, as far as like having the right cleats at the right time with the right team, this is a perfect relationship all the way around. Cool Kobe Grinches, green team, holiday season. Had to be the first one. Great choice.
Could not agree more. Those are sick.
Yep. And then next up, we've got another New York Jet who also did a great job, recognizing the holiday season. These are a pair of LeBron 11, I want to say. These were the Christmas LeBrons from that year. So these hit home for me. These are like one of the shoes rather, I really wanted growing up. They're just so cool. And again, perfect for this time of the year. They're a green football cleat-ish. He got away with it. These are really cool as well. I know you or your brother really likes LeBron, so I'm sure you know about these too, right, Tony?
Like he'd probably know better than me. Like, I was never a big sneaker guy. I knew a little bit. He knows way more than that stuff. He used to be like, he's obviously gone through phases like anyone else. Big, at one point in his life, huge sneaker guy, massive collection. But then, like, at the same time, he was really big and still is. Like, the only consistent thing in his life has been fishing. Like,
interesting.
Travels on vacation. Like, he is not interested, like I am, to like go to Vietnam or like Italy or some of the places I've been to, like culture, history, that kind of stuff. Does not give a shit. He will never go to France to look at the Notre Dame or whatever, or any of that kind of stuff. The Louvre, doesn't care.
Yeah.
If there's fish, he's interested. All his trips in life have been fishing. Anyways, the point is he was big into fishing and big into sneaker culture, and at some point he just decided, like, I don't really care about sneakers anymore, and sold all his sneakers to buy more fishing stuff. So this is in that time frame when he was big into sneakers, but he's definitely not anymore.
Yeah, I feel like sneakers are kind of something you do eventually grow out of. At one point, you're like, why do I have 100 pairs of shoes? I only have 2 feet, and half of them I don't even want to wear because I'll ruin the value. So it's like, I feel like a lot of people, it's just like a temporary thing. But regardless, what? No, you go. I
was gonna say, I used to be big into, like, when I was in university, wearing like nice shoes, like some dress shoes, some really nice boots, some good casual shoes. Like, I had a really good collection. And then I just kind of started wearing my Boost, like my Adidas, every day, and I did that. And now I'm kind of at that point again where I kind of want to go back and at least have like a little bit of a rotation.
Yeah.
I just
rotate a lot of the
like
shoes.
3 pairs of Boost.
Yeah, I just rotate through a lot of the shoes that we've gotten through Poison, and then I have some Ultra Boosts and stuff. But lately, I've been inside all the time, so I'm just wearing the old moccasins around the house.
Yep,
which is always nice.
All right, who's next?
Next up, we got Jalen Mills, another pair of Grinches. These are the reverse Grinch. These just dropped recently, so it's the Grinch, but they're reversed, obviously. They're red, green laces. Perfect coordination with uniforms, obviously. I mean, Jalen Mills, one of the drippiest guys in football, and these are a perfect pair of cleats for the holiday season and for the Patriots uniforms. So, shout out to Jalen Mills. Another pair of Grinches.
Those are cool.
Then next up, we've got Deebo Samuel of the San Francisco 49ers. So these are a pair of Jordan 1s that we might have covered at one point. But basically, these cleats are inspired by a fitted hat. You guys see the sticker that people leave on the brim, and then the material is like the same as the hat. And then even some of the holes are like the holes that you see on the hat. So it's a really cool pair. These are Jordan PEs, of course. And I think I had featured them in a Cleat Heat before, but I figured they were cool enough to put in here again.
I don't remember these, but I do. The material is cool.
Yeah, no, the attention to detail on Jordan PEs this year has been incredible. They've done such a good job on this year. It's been really fun to
Yep.
watch. But yeah.
All right.
Um,
CD.
Next up, we got CeeDee Lamb. I mean, there's not really much to say about these. He just had such a big game, and these are really cool cleats. LeBron 4s, we talked about them a bunch. They're releasing the public as an alpha cleat. The NFL guys got them in these silver promo pairs, and this silver with that Dallas silver and then the Navy uniforms, and then just the big game he had, it was a perfect look. So I had to throw them in here, or the Cowboys fans might have killed me.
Hey, doesn't CD Lamb wear an older Nike traction plate?
Say that again?
Doesn't CD Lamb like to wear? He doesn't wear the edge plate on any of his stuff. This doesn't look like the edge plate.
I'm about to check. Is he one of those
Look at
guys
it.
that
Look
has
at
like the old front toe? It's hard for
Yeah.
me to tell.
Look at the. I'm looking at it's. You'll see like 4 studs, the 2 front on the toe and then around the corner.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah. Wow. So they're doing that. They're giving him that treatment on a promo pair too. That's pretty.
Yeah.
Wow. They really care
Well, I
about
guess
their.
I knew like he would legit never wear them if they didn't do that.
That's probably true. Yeah. So the front half it's the older style of the front, and then the rear is the same edge. I think. Neat. Yeah, I didn't even notice that. I just like assumed they wouldn't do that for a promo pair like this, but Nike takes care of their guys.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Pat Surtain. So these are a pair of Kobe's, reconstructed by Coda Customs. I don't know which Kobe's these are. These are the one that came with like the ankle cuff, and I mean you can see it in the picture, but I don't remember which ones they're called.
Yeah.
But they're really cool. I mean, just the colorway is really nice. It's such a cool pair of Kobe's. I feel like Kobe's on the gridiron is just like a really natural thing. I wonder if Nike's ever gonna turn a Kobe shoe into a football cleat, like officially. That'd be cool. I wonder.
Is there any because I could see if like they have this new what did we call it, pillar of bringing back stuff like LeBron 4s and stuff. I could see them doing it. The only thing is I don't know how that works with like the Kobe Bryant estate.
Yeah, that was kind of my thought as well. I think they're like on good terms-ish now because I know they just dropped a new Kobe, like old Pro model in all white. And then they dropped the reverse Grinches as well. So they're dropping Kobe shoes again. But it might be tricky to translate them into football and, squeeze every last drop out of it. I don't know.
Check out his PS2 controller. PS1?
Where do you see that? Is it his thigh pads?
Left thigh pad.
Yeah, no, he's been doing that all year. PS2. Pat Surtain the second. Yeah, that's like his nickname. He's had like PS4 inspired, or PS2, obviously. PS2 inspired cleats in the past too.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. He's probably going to be in the video for the best drip corners because I feel like nobody ever talks about him, but he's got some cool stuff. He gets Nike PE gloves as well.
Yep.
He's got good stuff going on. Good player too. Next up, we've got Jamar Chase. So I think we looked at this photo a little bit earlier, but these are the OG Untouchables. Well, they're not OG. They're the new Nike OG Untouchables. You can see the edge plate if you look at that right side heel. You can kind of see that sharp shank on the back, which is pretty indicative of the edge plate. And then you can see the cleat as well. Some of the details, the swoosh, the Nike, the Untouchables. They're back. Had to throw this in there just because it's cool. And he's the only guy that's had them.
Yep.
Then next up, we've got Jalen Hurts. So even though they lost to the Cardinals, had to get that in there. He did wear some really cool cleats. A couple pairs of Jordan 4s. This is the one pair here. I didn't put the other pair in. I probably should have. These are like a Kelly green Jordan 4, and then the other one was like a white and gray and green pair. They're really cool. They've been all over the internet. I'm sure you've seen them even if I don't have it in here. But really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't really match the uniforms much, but they're cool. And then
next up, what are these? Are these supposed to be like a Yeezy?
Yeah, exactly. So this is Wan'Dale Robinson, one of my New York Giants. These are inspired by a Yeezy. What are they? 350, right? And on the side, instead of like the Yeezy supply, it just says wide receiver -17 position number. Obviously. I feel like we don't see Yeezys much these days. I know there's like a whole bunch of stuff going down with that or whatever. I don't know. I don't get into all that stuff too much, but The cleats themselves are cool to me, so I'm going to put them on the Cleat Heat. So that was my thought process, and it's different. I feel like it's unique, and he's an Adidas athlete, so there's not really a ton of stuff for him to work with. So it's cool.
Didn't they?
Cool stuff.
So if he's an Adidas guy, would they not? I don't even know how it works with, because Adidas, didn't they like sell off the Yeezy share or stock or
I have no idea.
something? I don't really know how their relationship works anymore.
Yeah, me neither.
Like I could see if this guy wasn't an Adidas athlete and he just like went to a cleat customizer and was like, "Yo, paint these like a Yeezy for me."
Yeah.
But
Well, these aren't.
I don't know.
Actually...
I feel like the Adidas employees would be a little sour about that. I don't really know how because it's just like really rocky ground.
Yeah. So this pair is a customized pair. It's just a regular pair of Adi Zeros that arts_undefined painted to look like Yeezys. So they're not like Yeezys directly from Adidas.
Oh,
and
okay.
Yeah, even then, I feel like the Adidas guys that me and you know personally, I feel like they wouldn't really mind something like this. But yeah, they might. They might. Who knows? Either way, something different. I had to put them in there.
Yep.
And then I think this is the last pair. So this pair is for George Kittle. I know it's a funny photo. I couldn't find a better photo of him just like running normally. So instead, he's getting flipped on his head. Oh well, he's balling. But the cleats themselves are pretty simple. They just have like that shark tooth design, which I always think is kind of cool to see. And George Kittle, he's been mixing it up this year. Doesn't really strike me as a custom cleats guy. So anytime I see him wearing something custom like that, I'm like kind of excited and I want to put it in the post. So I thought these were cool enough to toss in here. What do you think? Are these cool enough? Should these be Cleat Heat?
It's kind of just because it's George Kittle, right?
Probably, yeah. Like, I mean, it's a very simple custom job. Like, it's super simple.
Yeah.
But, yeah, George Kittle.
You know what I noticed? When did Kyle Juszczyk switch into the Jalen Ramsey face mask?
He's had it for, I want to say, most of the season at this point.
I have not noticed that.
Yeah. There's another guy I saw yesterday that had it. I forgot what team he was on. They're like everywhere. There's got to be 10 plus guys in that face mask at this point.
How are they fitting a visor on this thing?
I have no idea.
Like, all I want to do is talk to an equipment manager to be like, how are you doing this? Like, I sat down for an hour and I played with an Oakley Pro visor, an Oakley Legacy visor. I tried squishing it. I tried pulling it. I tried looking at the placement and being like, what if I cut the clips? And like, but I've looked at all the photos and no one has clips that are cut. And I looked at like the OG photos of like Derwin James wearing it, and the visor sits like considerably higher. So I tried like flipping the clips, but then I looked at other photos and it's like, oh no, it's sitting normal for other people. And like, I literally cannot get, it's so frustrating because it's behind me right now and the visor's just floating in there without the clips attached. And I have no solution for how to deal with it.
It's got to be possible. Got to be. If anybody's an equipment manager or has any tips for Tony to get the visor on the face mask, drop a comment. Let us know.
If you're an equipment manager and you were watching this entire podcast and made it all the way to the very end, reach out.
Yeah. That'd be pretty incredible.
That's a subset of a subset.
Yeah. Yep. But that's going to do it, right? We don't have anything else.
Nah. We had a bunch of other stuff, but like it's all stuff we can cover next week. It's nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Good to talk about the new year, all the plans, all the goals, that stuff.
Yeah.
Gets me fired up.
We're poised for a big year. So, and I mean, huge shout out to anybody who's watching this, anybody that supported any of our channels. Obviously we wouldn't be able to do any of this without you guys. So shout out to you guys as well. Yep. We're excited for a big year. It's going to be awesome. Very excited.
Yep.
But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Big Football Guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you did enjoy this, like the video, comment what you guys want to see, comment a Q&A question, send us your drip or skip at BigFootballGuysPodcast@gmail.com, and subscribe for more stuff just like this. Yeah, that's about it. See you guys later.
Peace.